Good morning. It's not many times we get to say good morning here, but first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for kind of accommodating us with a little earlier time for several different reasons. And I know Coach Tomlin's got a press conference because they play Thursday this week as well, so I think everything worked out good. But it's good to kind of put that chapter of the Virginia game away last night with our kids, just kind of shutting it down, and a lot of great things. First thing it started off when you look at that game tape was the toughness and resilience our kids played with on really all three phases of the game. Starts with the opening kickoff where we cause a fumble. We don't quite get the fumble, which is always disappointing when the ball's on the ground and we don't get it. And we had three guys touch it, but it started with that first big hit, and I think offensively and defensively after that, we established some toughness in the game, and again it starts with running the football and stopping the run. That's usually our intentions. Mr. Hillgrove asks me every week, hey, what do we have to do? And I tell him that every week. I'm sure he hates to hear it, but we were able to get that done, and it's going to be important this week against a Justin Fuente team that'll come in here hungry, probably angry, and with something to prove. But I think you'll have a hungry and an angry Pitt football team as well. It still goes through my mind fourth and one, but 4 downs at the one last year down there, where we could have taken that game back to Pittsburgh, and so we're gonna play angry as well. So we got a chance to go 1-0 in the ACC again this week, and that's our goals. That's where our focus is, really just on this game and nothing else, and which has been the story all year really, is just focusing on the next one. And we got a great opportunity, hopefully in front of a big crowd here at Heinz Field. That should be a game of the ages. So, questions?
Pat, it's November or whatever, 5th, and it's at the top of that coastal division by yourself. There's no ties. There's nobody else you're looking at. I know you're looking at this week, but you said, hey, I can't keep my kids from being aware of kind of what they are. At this point, do you talk about it? I mean, forget about where
what? I didn't address it last night. I'm not going to address it because there's still a bunch of hungry teams sitting below us. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we didn't talk about it. I didn't throw the standings up there. I know they read on Twitter and all that stuff, and so I guess I don't have to address it. I'm going to address what we need to take care of is the business at hand, and all that doesn't matter if we don't do what we need to do. And again, the focus, has got to be on what the preparation we need to do to win this football game. Period. Nothing else matters. I mean, those standings mean absolutely nothing. They really don't. I mean, what are we going to stare at those and Google those all day or look at them on Twitter? If that's where your focus is, then we got a problem.
You find yourself paying any more attention to the Saturday games though this weekend, given that you guys were off?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, I didn't. I actually watched the second half of the Virginia Tech game because it wasn't on. My daughter pulled it up. I said, "Can you get this darn game?" She pulled it up on Apple TV, and I got to watch the second half. But I wasn't that interested to watch the first half to see what was going on. Didn't watch any of the Miami Duke. I was just watching ball and flicking channels as much as I could, and never got to that channel of that game. So it really didn't matter. I don't even, doesn't matter. I mean, we just got to take care of our business, and I just wanted to watch some good football on Saturday.
What did you want to watch instead? When she pulled that up, what did you want to watch instead of Virginia Tech?
What did I want to watch? Oh, I don't remember.
She pulled that up and you were like, get that.
At the end? Well, I just wanted to see it. What was I watching before that, or?
Yeah, I mean, if it were up to you, what would you have been watching?
I don't know. I don't even remember. That was so. It was so long ago. I don't know what the heck I was watching. I don't remember. I know in the evening we watched that Alabama LSU game. That was the last game, so I remember the last one I watched that night.
Yeah, a lot of times when a team faces has misfortune early in the season, a lot of teams don't bounce back from it. Why do you think this team was able to bounce back from your early season troubles?
I think it's obviously, it's been a nice job by our assistant coaches and coaches overall. I mean, it's really the leadership, in this room and our seniors that sit up in front, just keeping everybody on track. I mean, ultimately, you play one game at a time, Jerry, and to me it comes down to the overall leadership of the program. Like, what are we doing? We just got to keep moving on and focusing on what we can do to change things. And obviously we didn't get to start the way we wanted to. I don't think anybody's played 5 top 25 football teams in the country, which we have. But we faced 5 of them so far wasn't an easy schedule. Everybody knew it wasn't an easy schedule coming into the year, but then after the game's over, no one says, "Oh yeah, but it's a hard schedule." And you know, what other way would you want it? I mean, our kids read on Twitter, as we know. Will just told us, and they know what's going on, so they know who we played. So it's you know, to me, that's coaching, and it's always the hardest coaching. It's easy to win and keep them going, but it's always harder, you know, to keep them alive, keep the kids engaged, and keep them believing. So I think it's a great job by our coaching staff.
Did you change anything as far as tactical-wise, or just approach-wise, or just anything?
No. Stick with what you do. I think anytime, you know, you start to change what you do, I think the kids notice that and they say, okay, the other stuff didn't work. I mean, we do what we do. You know, offensively, defensively, structurally, our days don't change. We try to keep things as similar and as familiar with the kids as we possibly can.
That leadership is something you've been talking about that since really July at least, I guess. And Saturday is going to be the senior day for a lot of those guys. I mean, how much more special is this kind of going to be for you with not only a big group of guys going out, but a quality group of guys and a game that you really need to win?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't need to win it anymore, and we need to win the next one or the last one. But you know, it's you know, obviously senior day is always an emotional day for our kids, for their families, their parents, mom and dads, aunts, uncles. High school coach that may be walking, you know, a player out there on game day. But it's an emotional game, and you know, sometimes the emotions can get to you and be a negative as well. So we got to make sure that doesn't happen because it is emotional. I think our kids will be cranked up for it. You know, it's always, you know, tough saying goodbye. You know, but again, we've got 2 more games. You know, they're just not home games afterwards. That are guaranteed that we can play with the team again. But you know, it's the last time, you know, for them to be in Heinz Field, which is a, you know, big day for those kids, and you know, it'll be an emotional day for, you know, everybody in the program.
Speaking of seniors, Dwayne Hendricks had a big game the other day. Is he kind of finally coming around to like being the player you thought he would be all along?
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne's had a you know, a good year all year really. He's, you know, there's things about Dwayne that have just gotten better and better. You know, I noticed on the sideline, you know, our offense has got the ball. You know, I think I don't think it's a timeout, but I know defense is on the bench. They're right behind me, maybe, you know, 10 yards, and I'm hearing Dwayne go off on the sideline, which I don't know if I've ever heard Dwayne. Dwayne's always listening. You know, he's just the nicest kid in the world, listening to what everybody's got to say over there. But he went off just, you know, leading. And, you know, we talk about seniors leading and every game might, you know, so I think he's feeling confident enough and well enough in what's going on that he's now stepping up and saying stuff, which is awesome. That's what he needs to do. But, you know, I think I mentioned it after the press or after the game, but he's just studied the game, or maybe I mentioned it to Larry on the radio, that he's really, you know, I guess attaching himself to the details of this game, because it's not all about how fast you are, how big you are, how strong you are. But the knowledge is really starting to kick in with him as far as tendencies. He'll be, you know, even in practice, he'll be like, Coach, well, wait a second now. If they do this, you know, he is putting it all together. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but he's a smart kid, and you know, he's really starting to take advantage of really the things that he knows about an offense. Not just, he's not worried about what he's doing. He's worried about what the other guys are doing. I think that's helping him play, you know, bigger, better, and faster.
Pat, in a lot of rooms where you have 2 guys at running back that are capable and they kind of go back and forth, it can lead to, you know, in some other teams it leads to problems. One guy wants to be the dude. It seems with Padre and Darren, I mean, their ability to sort of just, when one's in there,
right,
he's the guy, and the other one's, I mean, what has that meant for your group, and how special is it to have these 2 guys sort of share Saturday together and this will be their last ride?
You know, it's a great point. And, you know, you talk about selflessness, and, you know, that running back room is, you know, a couple doors down here, and I hope the young guys in that room are taking notice to those 2 guys and how they act. And, you know, and again, I'm sure you guys got brothers in here and or been around brothers. Those 2 guys get along better than brothers. I mean, brothers fight, you know, a heck of a lot more than those 2 do. I mean, it's those 2 get along so well, and they understand their roles, and they understand that they got to come out and compete every day in practice, and they're not worried about. I mean, they're not worried about me. You know, they're worried about we. And I think anytime you got a, you know, really a football team that's not worried about that. You know, we talked about halftime about just sticking together, guys. Don't go off on your own and worry about yourself. Just stick together as a team in the second half. We're down by 3. And those two are, the epitome of togetherness and selflessness.
You talked a good bit about how much impact Kenny can have on the running game, just where getting guys lined up, making checks at the line. How much do you feel like he had an impact on the big running game you had? I noticed there was a lot of times where he was making checks at the line.
Yeah.
It seemed like those were some big plays.
He's, all the unknown. I'm glad you brought it up, but all the unknown. I mean, all the things he's doing back there with signals and the loudness and giving some of these and doing some of these and letting receivers know what's going on as well as just barking out in pretty loud environment. Especially with that band and the music going till the end, all the way up until we're about ready to snap the ball. But Kenny is a big part of. You can't. You're not just handing the ball off blindly every snap. I mean, you're just not doing it. From his quarterback sneaks to all the different run checks and all the things he's got to look at pre-snap, he's done an incredible job. Obviously we want our passing game to be better. We talked about that last night, something we still got to continue to work on. When you run the ball as effectively as we are right now, you hope you'd have some bigger shots and some big plays in the pass game. And we're not getting those, and we still need to be more explosive, in the pass game, period, to get where we want to go.
At halftime of the game Friday night, Joe Galloway said that maybe officials are trying too hard to protect players. Have you seen that this year?
Yeah, I mean, you watch games on Saturday. I think there was an awful one Saturday night. I forget what game it was. Wasn't an ACC official, so let's stick there. I don't think I watched it, much ACC football, but I think they are, and it's, there's some, they're saying, oh, it's not targeting, but you still get penalized for it. It's like, what are we doing? That's all I'll say on that. Don't bait me, Jerry.
Defense, and I guess they're in front four.
Say it again.
What stands out about Virginia Tech's defense this year and in that front four that Bud has?
They lost a couple guys at graduation, number one, but they're still Bud Foster's defense, and you take the Georgia Tech game out of it, they're still playing at a high level. They're still explosive up front. They're attacking. They get on you. They're playing a lot of man, a lot of quarters, like we do, but they get in your face and they're aggressive, and they haven't changed their style. Bud Foster does a great job, and it'll be a challenge, and they're always good. They always play up to us, so they like to pack it in the box. We like to put them in the box, and it's going to be a smash mouth football game.
You talk about not getting caught looking at the standings and so forth, but is there something to embracing what comes with this week? Everyone who's a part of this program came here, was a part of it to play in a big game like this. Do you have any sort of messaging about embracing this moment and opportunity?
Not really. I mean, you can embrace it all you want. It's a football game. It's just one game. It means nothing unless you win it, and we can't worry about premature victory of something that we did something. We haven't done anything yet. We really haven't done anything. We got a long way to go. We can become a better football team here this week with a Tuesday practice, a Wednesday practice, and a Thursday practice, and premature victories are no good, and we're not looking for one either.
And how close to when you think about what a Pat Narduzzi football game is supposed to look like, I mean, how close was Friday to what you run the ball, you're physical on defense? I mean, it's
kind of what you want. It was an old school game, and that's kind of who we are. That's what the city of Pittsburgh is. I'd say that's it. I mean, I still like to throw the ball better. There's a lot of things we'd like to do better, but I like the weather to be a little bit better. I hear there might be a sun out on Saturday at Heinz Field at 3:30, so that's a bonus, at least last time I looked. But I'm a weather guy too. I do look at the weather. I check the weather out, especially with these rainy games. I think the staff must laugh at me. I'm like, hey, better do some wet ball drills today. Looks like we got rain Saturday, but it's supposed to be a sunny day Saturday, and it should be a heck of a game.
Do you think you found your identity? I mean, as a team, because it was what Friday was so different to what happened on Saturday. The Saturday before against Duke. I mean, do you think you're getting closer to sort of having?
I know what our identity is. It's whether you can win doing it all the time, and your identity's got to change, weekly, I think, and you have to melt your offense and your defense to what the team is doing, and it's not going to just be a smash mouth football game all the time, and sometimes you get to the point where you can't do it, then what are you going to do? We can't be handcuffed to say that's all we are. We're going to find a way to win a football game, and that was the goal Friday night, is to find a way to win it and do what we need to do to win it, and then that's our goal this week. Offensively and defensively, they're working in rooms right now trying to figure out what we have to do to win this football game. It's different than last week, and Virginia game was different than the Duke, and so forth.
One of those games you want a big crowd for, and your weather should be good. I mean, how much is this one that having those fans there at Heinz Field can sort of help give you a home field advantage?
Well, you talk about standings. You could talk about standings all the time, and maybe the fans should look at the standings and go, let's get to Heinz Field on Saturday. I think that's the key, and I can tell you this, for your kids, for those seniors, they look at that. That makes them feel good. I mean, that 12th man up there, all those fans, Heinz Field, and they were loud last game. I don't know how many was there. I don't look at that. Don't really care, but I know our kids care, and I know that it'll make a huge difference if they get the support that they should, based on what they've done so far. And our kids, play with a lot of heart. We know there's going to be a battle on Saturday afternoon, and it should be a beautiful day.
Anything final for Coach?
Matt, what's key to your better defensive play?
Say it again.
What's key to your better defensive play?
What is key to the better defensive play? Focus, maybe. I mean, just focus. And we talk a lot about consistency, and I said it after the game. We need to stack a good game defensively on top of another one, and the same thing offensively. You went from from the Duke game to Virginia game. Can we put them on top of each other and play great defense? And I still don't think we played a complete game yet. I mean, it's still not what we want. On all phases. And we may not ever get it, but that's what we're striving for, is perfection on, in all three phases, and in the consistency is what we need. But, I think it comes down to focus and playing disciplined football and doing your job and not worry about doing somebody else's. I know it sounds cliche, but all you have to do is watch the tape and go, what are you doing? Have eye control. Stay on your guy. Read your keys. And when you do that and you do the details right, you got a chance to, be successful. And I think our kids were locked in and focused, on both sides of the ball Saturday or Friday night, and they got to be really locked in and focused, for a good football team coming in here.
Final question?
Yeah. What do you see from Willis, and how is their offense? I guess, is it any different than it has been when they had Jackson in there?
It's a little bit different. I think, I just see a composed quarterback that, is throwing the ball probably better, which is, really not what we want to see. I mean, we've really been good at stopping the run, and we've got to be better at stopping the pass. I mean, they do a great job with their screen game. He knows where to go with the football. And I'm not saying he knows where to go better than Jackson, but he's just done a nice job. I mean, he's still a young player. Was he a redshirt junior? He hasn't played a lot, maybe 11 games or so. But he runs the offense, and it goes through him, and he's done a nice job.
You touched on the last year's game a little bit earlier. Is that point of reference or point of emphasis for the kids themselves, or point of emphasis for you talking about it, how to remind them about it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I didn't mention it to our kids yet. I just mentioned it to you because it's still, it still bothers me, and I know it bothers the offensive line. And so whether they'll talk about it or not, it's fact, it's reality, it's what it was. And I think Saturday or Friday night, when it's 4th and 1, at our own 11-yard line, kind of gives you the indication of how we feel and how much trust and faith we have in our offensive line to get it done, when it's a 4th and 1. So I think that's key.